All right, so I believe we are streaming. I'm showing levels. Let's bump this music bed up here. It's good to be back, yeah.
Back
with
in
my
Florida?
buddy. Back in Florida for sure. Happy to be back here. That is for sure. Happy to remember to hit the record button as well. And if you're joining us while you're out there, hit that like button, subscribe button, share, follow, do all those free fun things for us because it really helps us grow. That's what we're trying to do. So coming to you on the road this week from Florida. Dave's joining me from home back in New Jersey. And happy that you're here with me, my friend. So how's things going? You saying the weather's pretty good? So glad to hear that because I know that always makes you a happier fella.
Oh, you just feel the seasonal depression shed right off of you.
With the warmth of the sunlight starts basking you, the seasonal depression sheds.
Exactly. So, yeah, no, other than sinkholes and traffic, life's not too bad.
Nice. Well, know what it is? It's one of my favorite times of year, too. And I know it's just one of those sports, like equinox times of year where you have March Madness, you have hockey coming to an end, you have the playoff push, you have NBA coming to a playoff push, you have baseball starting up, football just ended, but you got the draft and free agency and all sorts of other things going on there. It's just a jam-packed time of year. We are at that time where we are at March Madness. Now, neither me or you are going to sit here and spend the time tonight to pick an entire bracket or to do anything crazy like that. Because let's be honest, neither of us know enough, and it's all crapshoot anyway. And that's what everybody loves about March Madness, is it not? Is that anybody can pick it. Doesn't matter if your grandma's picking the games or if, there's somebody in the ESPN studios picking the games. It doesn't matter. Everybody has what feels like the same chance of winning. Does it not? And isn't that part of the excitement?
Well, and that's I think that's why people love March Madness, right? Like, because it's the only basketball tournament that you watch, right? That's a one and done, right? You win or you go home. There's no in between. There is no working around it. Like, it's win or go home. 16 seeds, from some small, tiny D1 school that nobody's ever heard of before, beating, number one seed teams that play on a national level. And are nationally known, and it's a grand old time. And like, for an example, as a Tar Heel fan, spending all week last couple of days listening to people talk about how they shouldn't have gotten into the tournament, which I hate to admit it, they probably shouldn't have gotten into the tournament. I think it's debatable, hence why people have been debating it. But I mean, if you look at their season as a whole, they have not had the greatest year. But the last 3-4 weeks have been really good for them. So I was a big fan of the fact that, all that talk was taking place, and then they come out last night and win by 27. That was awesome to get to see. And, that type of win, the last, I think they said last night, the last 3 or 4 years in a row, at least one of the teams that had to play to actually get into the tournament won the next game. So with how they played, if they can ride that momentum, maybe they win another game, and then you never know what could happen.
I mean, you look at the bracket and where they're at. They're actually a 1.5 point favorite as the 11 seed going against the number 6 seed Ole Miss. So that's interesting to see that they're coming out of that game and into a favorite, even as a lower seed. And then if you look below that, they have Iowa State. Iowa State and Lipscomb is going to be their, winner of that game would go on to play if Carolina was able to get past Ole Miss. They have a winnable, I think, bracket or piece of the bracket there to maybe make a noise, make a move, and possibly get into, a Sweet 16.
And that, I think that's something like, even if you're somebody that said they didn't deserve to get in, you're making a Sweet 16 game, and whether you win or lose, that says something. And they got a bunch of guys that have tournament experience. They didn't make it last year, but they've got an older team when it comes down to college basketball. I'm excited to see what they do. I don't like Duke, but I'm happy Cooper Flag is going to be able to play in the tournament. I think that's huge for him, huge for Duke, huge for the tournament. So I'm happy to hear that he's going to be able to play after missing the final 2 games of the ACC tournament. But yeah, no, March Madness, there's nothing better. Like, I got it on right now. Mount St. Mary's playing American University, I guess they're called. I don't know. Like, this is what you're talking about, right? Like, Mount St. Mary's I have heard of, but American University I don't think I've ever actually heard of. And if they win this game, and apparently, imagine they go on and they beat the 1 seed, right? Like, now all of a sudden, a school nobody talks about is being talked about nationwide because of a huge win against the 1 seed. So that's exactly why people love March Madness. And
that's the only reason I know Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, other than me actually being here on the Florida Gulf Coast. But, I mean, they a few years back were a team that made a run as like a 15 seed, or, you remember these smaller teams that wouldn't necessarily get the recognition. That's the fun of March Madness. It is. I agree with you.
Oh, and like Loyola, the Granny Nun.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those little things, or, you think back, I think it was probably over 10 years ago when VCU went on that huge run with Shaka Smart, and he was some unknown head coach, and all of a sudden he turned, now he's one of the biggest names in college basketball coaching. So yeah, there's so much that can come out of these games. And I think what a lot of casual fans or people that watch these games don't realize is about 95% of the guys that are playing in this tournament will never touch an NBA basketball court. Like, and you're talking guys that hit game winners and play huge during the tournament, all that. Like, they will never touch an NBA basketball court because that's the type of odds it is to make the league. And that's when, like, I mean, you get a senior who, he's going to actually be an accountant when he graduates college, right? And he's never going to make the NBA, but this man freaking, balls out, and he gives it everything he has because he knows it's the last time in his life he's going to be able to play, truly competitive basketball.
We all don't have a LeBron James to give us that hand into the league. We don't all have him as a father.
No.
There's going to be a lot of players out there. To me, that would bother me though. Like, if I know I could ball out and I could ball better than Bronny, and Bronny's in the league and I'm not, and I'm bagging groceries somewhere, I'm bitter. I gotta be honest, I'm bitter.
You got to remember, man, there's guys that play street ball, all around the world that are probably better than guys that are in the NBA making $15-20 million a year.
It's true.
There's just some guys that just don't get that break, don't get that chance. Maybe, didn't have the grades, made that bad choice that, gave him a record, whatever the hell it is, right? Like, and all of a sudden now you're out of it.
Listen, but this is the tournament though that you can make your name. You can make a statement. And you can go on a special run. So I'm going to hope that one of these kids turns our heads and we come out of this tournament with another school or team we've never really heard of, and they're going on some kind of run, because to be honest, that's the magic of March Madness.
Best part.
No
question about it.
So, I mean, yeah, you got the playing game.
Especially if Duke doesn't win.
Yep, got the playing game still going on tonight. And then tomorrow noon, right? I believe 12 o'clock tip-off for the first game.
I think the first pregame show starts at noon and the games start at 1. I might be wrong, though.
I'm going to the scores now.
You're starting right around lunch.
12:15. 12:15, Creighton, Louisville. Tips off Southern Region first round. Then it's 12:40, High Point, Purdue. 1:30, Montana, Wisconsin. 2 o'clock, again, team that I've never heard of, probably never will hear of. SIU, so I'm going to guess that's Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Specifically, Edwardsville we have here. So I've never quite seen Edwards. Or South Illinois University, Edwardsville is what we're going to go with. Anyway, playing Houston. I'm going to imagine that if that's a win, that's a mouthful that we'll remember. Then 2:50, Alabama State, Auburn. Auburn, the 1 seed. That'd be a big upset. Nobody knows Alabama State. Everybody knows Alabama. Everybody knows Auburn. I don't think anybody really knows Alabama State. So They can make a name for themselves. I just don't see it happening. Yeah, 315, 405, 435. I mean, the games just don't stop. 650, 710, 725. The games just keep going, and that's what we love all the way until the last one at 10:10. So starting at 12:15 to 10:10, in those 10 hours, we are going to have 16 games or more kick off and play through. That is unbelievable. That's a ton of fun. And I mean, it's just one of those things where we've talked about it. One of the exciting things is you could be watching the end of one game and then literally turn on another game and it's the end of that game. And then turn on the next game and it's the end of that game. And then turn on the next game and it just repeats all the way through. And it's so nice. So nice.
The only thing to me that compares to the first 2 weekends of the NCAA March Madness tournament is that, like, the 1 o'clock Sunday games when the NFL season's going, right? Like, especially early in the year before bye week start, right? Like, it's the perfect, if there's any time ever in your life to go out to a bar and watch sports, it's the first 2 or 3 Sundays of the NFL season. And it's the first 2 weekends of March Madness and the NCAA tournament, because all you got to do is stand there and be willing to spin 360, and you can watch every and any game that's on. It's just, there's nothing better. Such a great time.
Couldn't agree with you more, my friend. Couldn't agree with you more. It is just absolute excitement. It is to me better than watching an NFL Sunday out where you have all the different games on different TV. This is just something different, a different feel. And as exciting as that is, this is a different level. So I 100% agree with your sentiment there. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Are you planning on going out and watching any? I mean, I'm probably not, but I don't know if you're planning on actually going out and watching any.
Well, I don't think I'll be able to get out and watch the day games tomorrow or Friday. But
are you one of those people? Now, I'm off, so I can't get in trouble for this, and I wouldn't do it anyway. Just saying. But are you one of the people that you would maybe throw it on your phone, put it in like your desk drawer, maybe have an earpiece in, something like that, or maybe have it up on your computer and like you're still working and doing stuff, but you got the games and the scores still on there so you can see what's going on? Or you just shut it down, your work mode, and you just catch yourself up at the end of the day or lunchtime or whatever. What kind of, not trying to put you on a spot here, I mean, listen, maybe I'm guilty of putting it on my phone and I'm, putting it on my dad. Yeah, listen, it happens.
You know what's funny about you? You know what's funny about you asking me that? So technically my boss's boss. Shout out to Pete if he's out there listening. So my boss's boss, is a sports guy. His 2 sons are really good baseball players. So big sports guy. So I ran into him. I think it was yesterday. I ran into him at the office, and I was asking how his boys were doing, figuring the season's getting started, where they're at, how things are going, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I'm like, I feel bad for, my buddy that I do my podcast with. Like, he's a big baseball guy. And I'm like, I just know nothing about baseball. I'm like, I can talk hockey, basketball, football. I'm like, I can talk better about soccer and golf than I can about baseball. And he's like, wait, you got a podcast? I was like, how the hell would you not know that? I've worked with the man for like 5 years. It's like, how did I never say this to you? So I went and grabbed, I showed him how to find us on Spotify. So he officially did subscribe to our podcast on Spotify.
Nice.
So I got to shout Pete out and thank him for that. But it's funny that you asked me that, and it could be the first time he's ever listening. So I just had to tell that quick background story. But anyway, so I can't, right? When I sold it, when I was selling, it was a little bit different, right? I like, if I didn't put in work, right, the only person I was really impacting was me. Well, now having a team reporting to me, I've got 2 new hires that, report to me that just started 2 weeks ago. So I can't, I just literally don't have the time. I have to be available and able to help my team. Where when I was selling, I was just like, all right, I'm going to schedule all my calls for the morning so that the afternoon I can basically do admin work and listen to the game or watch the game in the background. So not an option anymore for me. And thankfully, when I sold, I performed. So even if Pete's hearing that, he probably won't get too upset with me. But yeah, as a manager, I just can't do it. I don't have the time to do it, and too many people relying on me to be there for them. So I'll have to catch up, lunch break, things like that. Maybe take a little bit of a later lunch. Who knows? Maybe I'll take lunch from 1 to 2 tomorrow instead of 12 to 1. Something like that. But yeah, I wish I could. I just can't.
It's a good answer, my friend. Good answer. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there too. So, yeah, that being said, I mean, really, we're going to have a lot more to talk about next week when the action and excitement of this week happens. I mean, it's too much to try to sit here and break down every game because, like we talked about, every game's a crapshoot.
Did you fill out a bracket?
I did one. I was thinking about just asking you guys if you wanted to fill one out on like CBS or something, or even Yahoo, something we already have, like an app we already have. But just doing like a free one just for us. But yeah, no, I'll send it over to you of the one that I did.
Sure.
And
so I'm gonna do one real quick after we wrap up.
Yeah, and just send it to me. Yeah, just send it to me.
Just so I have one.
Yeah, exactly. And because it's always fun. You got to pick a bracket. Like even if you don't have money on there, whatever else. I mean, listen, DraftKings, FanDuel, they're going to clean up this weekend. Absolutely.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Clean up. They're, but it's something different about the bracket, though.
Did you hear the official odds of getting a perfect bracket?
It's got to be like 1 in like 13 billion or something. I don't know. Something stupid like that.
1 in 9 cotillion.
Oh, wow.
Cotillion, like cotillion, like that means you need to make 999 billion 999 million 999. Like think about how much. Like, that is just insane. 1 in 9.
Well, I think after last year, I think after the first round or the second round, I'm sorry, I think there was less than 2% of the people out there that still had a chance at a perfect bracket. Like it was crazy after the first weekend. Like it was so. I think it's kind of because of that. Like it's so hard to pick. But damn, am I looking forward to talking about these games and all the buzzer beaters, all the nonsense, all the calls that went one way or another. It's just bound to be madness, and we're here for it. It's March. That's that time of year. So, and all I know is every coach out there is going to be telling their team.
More than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better fucking execution.
That's exactly what every coach is going to be screaming in that locker room at halftime. So, that being said, there wasn't too much to get into tonight, but I did want to touch on 2 other NFL things real quick. I have to get your thoughts, and I have to get your opinion on, I have to get your opinion on what the Lions are suggesting, because to me, it makes perfect sense. And to me, it's probably the way it should go. But at the same time, like, I don't know. Do you really change it? Shouldn't there be something for winning a division, even if it's a shitty division? Like, and to get into detail of what I'm talking about here, the Lions have proposed to the league a rule change that would change the playoff format, where the playoffs would be determined based on not just division winners, but also truly based on record. So you'd still have all your division winners, but then the seeding itself would actually go based on record. And that being said, I kind of like this idea. And teams like Washington wouldn't have got hurt the way they did last year, and they probably would have ended up with a better chance to, even though they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game, like it was still there's ways this seeding can go. And Detroit kind of got screwed, I think, a little bit by it last year because they dropped to 4 because they were did the Vikings win the conference, or did the Lions win the conference? Which team won the conference?
The Lions were the 1 seed.
We're the 1 seed. That's right. Okay. Yeah. Either way, I know one of the teams got kind of hurt by it because they were both really good, and unfortunately, It's usually not based on record. It's based on how many times have we seen a team that's barely 500 or just over 500 win a crappy division, the NFC South or, whatever it is, or years ago, I remember when it was the New Orleans Saints and they had won the South and then went out as a team that was at 7-9 and beat the Seattle Seahawks in the playoffs.
No,
or no, the other
no,
way
you
around.
got it.
Other way around.
Other way around.
Other way around.
Yeah, Seattle one.
Yes.
That was
beast
the
mode.
beast mode.
That was
earthquake.
beast mode. Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So you have those crappy teams that win, and they tend to get a better seed. They get that 3 seed or that 4 seed, with their crappy record, and a team that's better than them gets pushed down because of it. I don't know. I'm for the rule change. I don't know how you feel. Give me your opinion.
Oh, when I heard it, I kind of went back and forth, right? And I think to me, winning your division, right, you got to beat all 3 of those teams, have a better record than the other 3 teams in your division. If you have the same record, then you got the tiebreakers of division record, and then you have the tiebreakers of conference record, and all these different tiebreakers to figure out who wins a division. I personally, I'm not really strong feeling towards either direction. I wouldn't mind seeing how it worked. I'll put it that way, right? Because if you see based on but to me, that's where you're creating a problem, right? If you're doing the seeding based off of best record, then why, for example, the NFC North this past year had 3 different teams win 11 games or more, right? So if you're doing it based off of seeding, then now you're moving them up. Are you? What if the division winner of the one division's record's so bad that they're technically not even one of the best 7 records?
They're still in because they're a division winner. Yeah, division winner status.
So that's right. So that's kind of a whole.
But they would be the number 17. If they were the 7th, they would be the 7th.
Yeah.
The other wild card teams would still be in though. That's what I'm saying is the wild card.
But they would host the game. Yeah, they would host the game instead of being on a road.
Yeah.
But let's say a division, all 4 teams win 10 games, and you have 2 division winners that win 9 games. Right now,
those 2 division winners unfortunately get in. Yeah, that's the caveat to those. Those they would get in. The 2 in the 2 10s wouldn't. But really, it's kind of rare that happens. But at the same time, like you said, this year when it did happen, Green Bay still got in. Vikings were in. All these teams were still in. So I really don't think we're going to see too much of a scenario where you're going to have 6 or 7 teams that are all 10-win teams and they're all from 2 divisions. And I feel like that would be the only way it would really happen. Yeah,
the odds are extremely slim. I think that it puts you in a pickle with that. I'm gonna go with the fact that let's go with the division win. I really don't know. I have to be honest. I go back and forth. I'm going back and forth while talking to you about this. I really don't know which way I would really lean. If you're going to put a gun to my head, Dave, make a decision now, then I'm going to go with the records. Gun to my head. But honestly, if you ask me in 5 minutes and put a gun to my head, I might give you the stick with the format we have.
Like I said, I think you have to see the format in action, and then you could really make an informed decision. I think you have to wait for that, though. You have to see it.
Yeah, I rather get rid of the 3rd wild card team.
I'm all for that. I think 12 teams is plenty in the playoffs anyway. So I'm all for getting rid of that last playoff spot. I think it was silly to expand anyway, but again, it's all about the money, and they want an extra playoff game.
Yep, extra playoff game, extra team getting helping generate revenue. That's why they did it.
That's why they ain't getting rid of it. They'll expand to 16 before they reduce it to 12.
Oh, 100%. But to me, that's the biggest issue the NBA has. Over half your league makes the playoffs. You have 16 teams out of 30 make the playoffs. You're going to have at least 4 teams in the Eastern Conference that will be under 500, and they're going to be playing playoff games. I mentioned that to you multiple times, how I think they're the ones that should really even out the schedule so everybody's playing each other twice. And then your rivalries like the Celtics and Lakers would play a third game, like whether it's in conference or out of conference, like you just play, you do your rivalry games three times, keep your 82 game season, and then the top 16 records are the ones that make the playoffs. And you play one like how we're talking about March Madness. One plays 16, two plays 15, so on and so forth. That to me is, if the NBA wants to revive, that's the way they got to go. You got to make them stop with the stupid midseason fucking tournament and do a real tournament to have somebody pick up the real NBA title.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was completely off topic, Rand.
Yeah, I mean, randomly off topic, but similar topic. I hear the NHL is, since the success of the Four Nations, rethinking how they're doing their All-Star games going forward. Like to hear that because the Four Nations was a big success a few weeks ago. So that was great. But either way, we can get back on topic here. And there's one more football thing I had to bring up because I kind of hope we're done with this saga. But unfortunately, I think even for the Giants, I'm not done with this saga. But at least for the Vikings, the saga's over because they've officially told Aaron Rodgers that, no, we're not letting you be Brett Favre 2.0. And we're going to stick with J.J. McCarthy. And now Aaron Rodgers is either going to retire or play for the Giants or the Steelers. And I don't want him in. I'm rooting for retirement at this point. I hate to say that. Guy was unbelievable for many years. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer, sure. He's a million things. I'm sure a wonderful human being, but at the same time, dude, hang it up. It's over. It's done. You're immobile. And you can't go to a Giant team that has that's been questioning their offensive line for the last 5 years. That's not the place to go when you're an immobile quarterback. And I just don't see it working with Tomlin and him in Pittsburgh. I just don't see how that dynamic ever works. So maybe I'm completely wrong, but I just really hope that the Giants are now going to hopefully get past Rodgers, although I know a lot of people were thinking that Rodgers is who the guy the Giants are waiting on an answer from. And then that's why they haven't offered Russ. That's why they haven't offered Winston or any of these other guys they brought in the building, which by all means none are great options. None have us in a playoff mode for next year. So it's rebuild. And if we're rebuilding, then give me either youth or give me a guy like Russ who's going to be a 1 year. But he's looking for more than 1 year. I'm only giving him one. It's same with Jameis Winston. I think he wants more than 1 year. Everybody, of course, wants more than 1 year, but from the Giants, one year is all I'm giving one of these guys. And I just really hope now that the Vikings are out on Rodgers, totally in on McCarthy here in his second year. I just hope that doesn't mean the Giants are now going to try to all-in push for Rodgers. But yeah, I don't know. You got any thoughts on the Vikings sticking with McCarthy? And what Rodgers may do going forward, because it seemed like the Vikings were his top option.
I think the Vikings were his top option as well because I think he believes, and I think a lot of people would probably agree that they're probably the best set up to be able to win. Right? You get to be in the NFC, so you're automatically putting yourself above most of the quarterbacks in that conference. Right? So you get in the NFC. Yeah, you get to play your division, your old team twice. You get to truly follow in the footsteps of Brett Favre. All that's left is basically helping with. No, that was New Orleans that did the hit gate or whatever it was. Anyway, but you get to follow in those footsteps, right? You get Justin Jefferson as your go-to guy. I mean, there's a lot of pros that go into Minnesota, and with some of the moves they made so far this offseason, they really kind of beefed up their defense with the D tackles that they signed and some of the moves that they made. So, but good for Minnesota. You drafted JJ. You said he was your guy last year. He got injured during training camp, so you let him get his redshirt year. He should be fully healed and healthy by the time the year starts. Like, go with your guy, see if you got it right. And I think that Rodgers is more drama than he's worth at this point. Like I don't know how else to say it. He's more drama. He's not worth the drama that he brings. At least I don't think so. And if you're a Giant fan, right? Like the Giants met with Russell Wilson, they met with Jameis Winston, they met with Joe Flacco. Like you've kind of hinted at this multiple times, right? Like they're really just, unless they're signing a guy that's their future, giving big money for a guy to play quarterback or a long contract for a guy to play quarterback isn't worth their money. You're better off just get a ride it out guy for 1 year, and you roll with them. So I think that's really how they're going to look at it. So I think the Giants, like, they're not going to get into a bidding war with Pittsburgh. Like I think Aaron Rodgers could literally end up to a point where, like, he's not blackballed out of the league, but there's just nobody willing to pay him or deal with his shit for the amount of money he'll probably be asking for.
True. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's done for him. I think it's over. And yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know why he's fighting to get back on the field so hard. I don't 43 now?
I don't think he's
42, maybe turning 43.
Yeah, that's
well into his 40s. I know that. It's time, dude. Like, there's teams and players that have passed you. At the same time, the speed of the game has passed him. He's a step slower now. He's not the same guy.
Yeah. He's 41, going to be 42 in December.
Yeah. No, I'm out. Anyway.
Yeah.
That all said, just quick note on QBs here. I did see that Burrow, Cousins, and Goff are going to be on the second season of the QB show. I remember who was on the first one. Was Mahomes on the first one? A couple of
it was. Yeah. I didn't watch the first one, but I know Mahomes was the main name. But I know there was a couple of people. Everybody's disappointed that Jameis Winston's not going to be on there after a Super Bowl media
right now.
I know, but after Super Bowl media week, a lot of people really fell for that man. So
he seems like a good dude. He seems like a good dude. I didn't know much about him other than him stealing some crab legs in college. Like I just knew that he came out as a big prospect, but I didn't have a ton of faith that he'd really stick in the NFL. Unfortunately, he hasn't. But at the same time, if you hear, he's nothing but a great locker room dude. He is absolutely somebody that people love to be around. He's a lot of fun, keeps a light atmosphere. He's an absolutely great teammate. From all accounts and everything I've heard about the man, he is a fantastic human being, and that's why people like being around him. So I don't know him personally. All I know is some of the is indiscretions. But listen, when we were younger, we all had a few. So can't hold his feet to the fire too bad. Like I said, it's more about what he's doing now. When you see him now, like you've talked about, whether it's media week, whether it's like some of the clips, I think I have a clip of him on here from something where knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone or something I got on here. Let me see if I can find it. But either way, like he's always got something fun to say. He's great with the media. He's great with teammates. Like I said, maybe for some reason, I don't know why the talent hasn't clicked. Other things haven't clicked, but I actually wouldn't mind it if he was the Giants' bridge quarterback next year. I would prefer Winston to Rodgers. I would prefer Russ to Rodgers. I would prefer almost anybody to Rodgers.
I can understand why, man. That is for sure.
Yeah, hang on. I got it right here.
You can knick-knack, this, that, paddywhack, give a dog a bone.
It's a little Jameis Winston right there. So, yeah, we'll see where he ends up. I wouldn't mind if the Giants actually made him their pick, but we will have to wait and see. All of that said, I only got one more topic for you, and I mean, it's not really. I mean, I don't.
Oh, really quick before we hop off of football, I know how you've been feeling about these wide receiver contracts. I'm surprised you don't have a reaction for what the Bengals did.
What did the Bengals do?
They gave extensions to both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase's contract, 4 year, extension to what he's currently on. 4 years, $141 million with $121 million of it guaranteed.
So that's what annual?
Breaks down to, if you just do the extension, it breaks down to 34 million a year.
So that's less. That's less though than Jefferson.
No, he's the highest non-quarterback in NFL history.
Is he? Okay. I thought Jefferson was $35 million a year.
I think he's like 31.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but like I know Jamar Chase is now the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Okay. Listen, he's the best. He's won the Triple Crown as far as wide receiver goes last year. So if there is anybody who's going to make the most money, it should probably be the guy who led the league in all those categories. So I don't have too much problem with that. What did you say Higgins was?
Higgins was 4 years for about 100 and change. He's at his average per year is going to be $28.75 million.
Okay. Again, I think that's fair enough. I guess if you're going to pay a number two, I'd rather pay T. Higgins that than pay a Ayuk 30.
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. So somebody posted a stat that with their new contract extensions between Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow, their total career earnings with these new contracts could reach up over $666 million just between the three of them.
Wow.
That
shows you how much of a quarterback-driven league it is, though, that the biggest positions being paid are quarterbacks and receivers.
Yeah, like LSU is straight up like, you guys better become freaking donors.
Not only that, but I mean, you figure that the next LSU guy is going to get paid pretty, in the next 2 years. Neighbors get another LSU guy. He's going to get paid. He won offensive rookie of the year this year. I mean, what's he going to do next year? And then pretty soon it's going to be ready for a payday for him. And are the Giants going to pay it? How can you pay a wide receiver if you got no quarterback? So, the problems we have. The problems that we have.
Sorry, I just didn't know if you had a reaction to it, so I just wanted to touch on that real quick.
But speaking of the problems that we have, anyway, that didn't play the way I wanted to, so we'll go with this one instead. I don't know, did you hear the last thing we're going to talk about here? And kind of pseudo sports, if you will, is off topic of sports as we've gotten lately. But I don't know if you saw what happened at the Knick game the other day. Tracy Morgan, comedian, normal Knick fan, at the game courtside, apparently got a bout of food poisoning, and they had to stop the game with the Miami Heat for a little while. And he had to get some on-court attention, actually get wheeled off and taken to the hospital. Kind of a crazy situation. I mean, just if you see the pictures and the videos where it's just like he's just vomiting on the court, and then they say he was bleeding, and like I just hope that he says it was food poisoning. Came out, made a statement, says he's okay. Says it was food poisoning. I don't know what the nosebleed and all. Is that food poisoning or is that something else? I just hope he's okay. That's the bottom line, and that it's not something more serious going on with him, because he has had some health issues in recent years too. So. Just some sad news about Tracy Morgan, but glad to see he's doing well. I don't know if you got any quick thoughts on Tracy Morgan and what happened at the Garden, but awkward way for the game to have to take a pause.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest piles of puke I've ever seen on courtside at a basketball game. That's for sure.
Oh no, it was on the court. Like he did it off the court, but there was so much of it that it leaked onto the court.
Yeah, like holy fuck.
Like what did I would almost ask him, what did you eat before you got to the game? Like You normally go to a game, you got to eat there. You get some, you get some chicken tendies, you get some fries, you get some nacho, you get a pretzel, you get a hot dog, whatever. Like, did he eat all of that and then had a reaction to something, or did he eat something before he went to some restaurant and all you can eat buffet before he got there? Because whatever he did, he packed it in. Because, like you said, that was a lot. Like there was a lot that came out of that, man.
That was like a college kid getting back to his dorm at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, definitely was.
Like that was crazy. I mean, I don't know, man. If he ate at the stadium, then there'd be more reports. Like people would be coming out saying, "I got food poisoning at MSG that night too," right? Like there'd be more people. So he had to have eaten before he was there, or it's not food poisoning. But he did post on Instagram a picture of himself in a hospital bed, saying he was okay and thanks for all the well wishes. So, I have no reason to think he's lying, right? But like at the same time, like these, celebrities, they live enough in the spotlight. So when they're dealing with shit, a lot of them try to keep it to themselves and just try to downplay it so that they don't have to deal with more shit than they maybe deal with on an everyday basis already. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope he's okay. He says he's okay. And yeah, that shit was crazy. I've never seen anything like that before.
No, me either. And again, just thoughts, prayers out to him. Hope he does well. Hope he recovers from whatever it is. And it was just a wild story. I had to mention it while we were here. That's all I got for you. So I don't know if you got anything else for me tonight, but other than that, we could wrap it up and keep it short. And just get ready to watch some more games. Like you said, it's on tonight, the playing games, and tournament starts 12:15 tomorrow.
And off we go, baby. The madness begins. Hey, I know a little shorter than normal, but we still gave the good people out there over 45 minutes, or almost 45 minutes. So
we did,
hope
sir.
they enjoy.
And until
shout out to Joe.
Oh, God.
Shout out to Joey.
Yeah, shout out to Joey. Shout out to Fife if he's out there as well. Hope to get him back on the next couple of weeks. Talk some more NHL, especially as the season wraps up. And shout out to Joey. Look forward to him joining us. Hopefully, sometime in the future. He's always on my mind because especially with Yankee baseball coming up, we share that love and passion. So shout out to my buddy Joey, our buddy Joey, and hope to have him soon. But until then, why don't we tell people where they could see you and find you while they like, subscribe, follow, share, do all those fun things for us. Where else can they find you?
You got me D Hastings 23 on Instagram, David Hastings 23 on Twitter, now known as X. And I'm living that dream, baby.
Nice. Find me at The Living Legend. You can find our unofficial fourth co-host, Louis at Louis Aussie Dude on Instagram. If you ever see that cute dog in our profile, that's our pup. That's our guy. He's our mascot. And until next time, I think we can all agree that every coach in the locker room is going to be yelling.
More than anything, I want better execution. Are we clear on that? I want better fucking execution.
Boom.
Let it be known.
All right, we are saved. Just ending the stream.